Well, for some people, math does seem kind of mystical. Algebra is about finding the unknown using symbols and mathematical operations. These symbols usually are letters. Usually those letters are English. And when we use letters in math, what do we call them? No. 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 Start with the letters. What are the letters called?
Letters.
Thank you, Ethan. Usually these are letters, and we call them variables. And they're called variables because they're allowed to change. And we're going to use mathematical operations, things you guys are familiar with. Adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. No, that phone belongs to UnGod. Do not touch that phone. That one charging is not yours?
No.
Okay, whose is it? Okay, it's Yuvraj's. It's charging. Don't touch it. Charging phones are off limits.
I'm charging in my pocket.
I don't believe you. Well, pockets are also off limits. So, mathematical operations are the things you're used to seeing. Adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Yeah. And division, yeah. Now here's a really simple example of somewhere where algebra might show up. We have someone named Jasnor. They have come to school with 10 candies to give her friends. At the end of the day, she has, yes, there's 7. She has 3 remaining at the end of the day. How many candies did she give away? Ethan already said 7. Really straightforward, quite easy. Ethan, what did you do to get 7?
10 take away 7.
10 take away 3, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, that.
Yeah, that guy. So you said, well, I took what she started with, I subtracted what she had left, and this is the beginnings of algebra. Lots of you guys think this way already, and that's great. Hassan and Liam, stop it. So there are still, what we're going to do is we're going to develop a system for identifying what we don't know and then looking for it. That process is called isolating the variable. To isolate something, that means we're going to get it alone. For example, if I were to isolate Hassan, I would put him in the front row where Garrett usually sits, alone. By moving, or I could get Hassan alone by moving all of the other people that surround him somewhere else. And this is what we do in math. We isolate the variable, not by necessarily moving the variable, but by moving everything else away from the variable. And we do this in math by using opposite operations. So I've got multiplication and division. Multiplication and division, these two are opposites. If I want to undo one of those operations, I just do the other one. For example, if I have something times 2, so if I have 2 times, I don't know, we'll say x. If I have 2 times x, and I want to undo multiplying by 2, the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So the opposite operation would just be to divide by 2. When you have an operation and its opposite, they cancel. They go away. So this would just be x, you betcha. When you're adding and subtracting, these are opposites too. So if I had something like x plus 2, and I wanted to get rid of the 2, the opposite of adding is subtracting. So we're just going to subtract 2. 2 positive 2 minus 2 is, so they're gone. And this process is what we're going to do, and we're going to start to stack this process on top of itself. It's going to be great. So here's how you would solve this using this technique. we've got Jesnor, comes to school, 10 candies to give her friends. Ethan already told us the answer is at the end of the day, she gave away 7, but let's show you the process. How many candies did Jesnor give to her friends? A way to model this is to say, let's let X represent the unknown. I don't like X.
A.
No, what is she giving away? What are we looking for?
How many candies she gave?
How many candies? So what is a letter that we could use to represent C? C is good. Let's C represent or equal,
7.
no, well, it's going to be 7 in a second, the candies she gave away. Because that's what we're looking for.
Is there going to be exponents in this?
No,
There's no exponents?
no exponents.
What about polynomials?
Polynomials? Not really.
Yay!
No exponents, no polynomials.
What is in there?
No monomials.
No, but the other thing that you don't like is sort of going to be there. Except it's not going to be BEDMAS, it's going to be SAMDEB.
What? Oh, Sam and Deb?
We'll talk about Sam and Deb in a second. So C is the candies she gave away. If she started with 10 candies, giving away is the same as what mathematical operation?
Subtraction.
You betcha. So she gave away an unknown amount. She gave away C of them. After she gave away some amount, how many did she have left? You betcha. So the amount she started with, taking away what she gave away, is going to give us 3. So, yes, we're going to do opposite operations. So what would you like to get rid of, Dakota? You want to move the C around? There's no 6. You want to get rid of the C? You want to move it to the other side to get it away from the 10?
Yeah.
We could do that. Right now I have a negative C. The opposite of having a negative C is having a positive C. So we're just going to add C. And in algebra, whatever you do to one side, you must then also do to the other. Alex, have you heard what happened to Miss S?
Yeah, I did hear. Is it real?
According to everything we Googled at the beginning of class, that email's from a real dude. That's a marketing firm that does sports marketing. So she's been on the phone with Rogers trying to verify. That could be really cool. So whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. Look at what happens here. If I'm subtracting and adding C, these guys cancel, leaving us just with 10. Yes, we got canceled. And on the right-hand side, we now have 3 plus C. And now we want to get C by itself. So what are we going to do? I now have a positive 3 here. What is the opposite of having a positive 3? Having a negativing of the 3. I'm becoming Ethan. And whenever you do to one side, you must do to the other.
Oh, not that stuff.
Yes, stuff you've seen in grade 8. 10 minus 3 is?
8.
No.
0.
7.
Wait, what?
Oh, look. The candies she gave away, there were 7 of them.
Take away 3, 7.
I was 10, take away 3, 7.
Oh, yeah, no, that makes more sense. She's not going to sign in my phone.
Oh,
I don't know how.
how could you not understand the question? I don't know. Fill in if it's not asking for anything personal, fill in the form, send it back. Do it. He's a real dude on LinkedIn. The marketing firm exists.
I'm still like, she's still trying to figure something out.
See, I think they're just managing it for Rogers. I think you should call that marketing company.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You should call that SDI, whatever. Okay, here we go. So we're going to look at, we're going to start with simple style questions.
Ow!
Here we go. So this first kind of question are called one-step questions. In a one-step question, all you will ever need to do, one-step question is one opposite operation. You will need to do one thing. So if I have x plus 7 equals 11, and I want to get the x by itself, what is the opposite of adding 7?
Subtracting.
Subtracting what, Jordan? 7. Thank you, Liam. So if I've got x plus 7 and I take away 7, whatever you do to one side, you must also do to the other. Hassan, are you writing this stuff down? These things cancel. I want you guys to model your work the way I'm doing it.
What?
Okay, I'm gonna zoom in so you can see it really easily.
Are we making this harder than it has to be?
No, we're not making it harder than it has to be. Well, right now, so here, Ethan,
X.
hold on, pause. Let me address what you just said. We're making it harder than it needs to be in the short term so that the harder things get easier. You're right. I am making this more difficult than it could be. Not that it needs to be, but then it could be. But what I'm trying to do, Ethan, is I'm trying to give you tools and techniques so that when things get harder later on, you've got a box of tools that you can use to solve the problem. Just trust me. So what we're going to do is we're going to take away 7 on both sides. Adding and subtracting 7 cancels because they're opposite operations, Liam and Hassan. So on the left-hand side, all I'm left with is x. And on the right-hand side, I have 11 minus 7. And as Ethan said probably half a dozen times, 11 minus 7 is in fact 4.
So simple.
The question is, why did I have to make it so difficult? Because I'm trying to give you tools to make really gross questions later trivial. Okay, number 2.
6.
Prove it.
Not?
It is. But why?
Oh.
I want to get x by itself. Right now, I'm taking 4 away from x, but I want to undo that. I want to add 4 to both sides. So on the left-hand side, the opposite operations cancel. X equals 6. Okay, so you're right. And it's great that you can do it in your head. But if you don't show me the work you did to get there, you will not get credit for the work you do on the tests or the quizzes.
That one's 10.
Okay, but why, Ethan? Ethan, why is this one -2?
Because if you do the math in your head, it's not that hard.
It's
Because
true.
you have 6, and then it becomes 4. You have to take stuff away.
It's true.
So true.
Okay, but let's do it my way. Let's try it my way.
The other way is the other one 10. Is number 4 10?
It is.
Yeah.
But let's do it my way. So, humor me, guys. I got 6 plus x equals 4. What is the opposite of having a positive 6 added to something? Yeah, a -6. And so we're going to do that to both sides. So the 6 minus 6 is 0, leaving us just with x on that left-hand side. And now we're going to do 4 minus 6. It is not 10, Denny. 4 minus 6 is not 2. It's -2. No, you're okay. I believe in you. You can do this. Okay, so. Okay, Hassan, Liam, and Harsh, what are you doing? All 3 of you stop. All 3 of you stop. Hassan, you taking notes down here? I didn't ask you, Liam. Okay.
So there's a positive 2 on the bottom now, and then
yes.
cancel each other out.
We're gonna, yeah, on both sides. Yes, thank you, Ethan. Yes, but Ethan, your way is not a technique.
It is.
No, it's guessing and checking, and the questions are easy.
Not guessing.
It's guess and check, and the numbers are easy.
It's not that hard though.
No, it's not. But neither is my way.
Is 6x like is x a number?
Yeah.
For that, it should be like
So,
12, no.
okay, just hang in here with no. What?
60.
Just stop and let me show you the technique. Now the next question. I have 6x equals 24. Now, when we have a number, so like you guys were talking in the last chapter, this is a coefficient here. That 6 is a coefficient on the x. A coefficient is attached to a variable through what mathematical operation? No. Don't guess. No. Multiplication. This is the same as 6 times x. So to get rid of that 6 to get the x alone, what are we going to do with the 6? What is the opposite of multiplying by 6?
Dividing.
Dividing. So we're going to divide 6 on both sides.
Zero.
It's not.
It's not zero.
What is, just stop, Ethan, please. What is 6 divided by 6? 1. So we're going to be left with 1x. When there is no number written out front, the number is a 1. Hamid and Abdullah, are we taking notes with me here? And I know the answer is no because you're looking at each other. You fully turned your body away from the page. 24 divided by 6 is 4. Okay. I've got negative 2x equals 8. What's the opposite of multiplying? So when there is no symbol between a number and a variable, that means we're multiplying. What is the opposite of multiplying? What is the opposite of multiplication, Jordan? Dividing. And because we're multiplying by negative 2, we're going to divide by negative 2.
It's negative times negative. It's positive.
And what we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So, Denny, the goal, I understand why you said what you said. The goal here, though, is to divide or multiply by itself. So it cancels, gives you 1. When you're adding and subtracting, you do the opposite so that it adds to 0. We wanted this to become 0 because 0 plus x is x. We want this to become 1 because this would then just be 1x. So then the negative 2 and the negative 2 cancel, leave us with 1x. And then 8 divided by negative 2 is? Yes, a positive divided by a negative is a negative. And 8 divided by 2? 4. So then x has to be negative 4. And now I'm going to demonstrate how do you check your work on stuff like this. So here on the right-hand side, let's introduce a check. Here's how you check the work. To check your work, you take the original question, negative 2, and wherever there is a variable, you put down a set of brackets. So the x becomes the set of brackets, and this is still going to be equal to 8. I think you call the SDI and go for it.
I will. I'm going to let her do what she's doing.
So then the negative 4 comes in, and you put it, because you said the math we did suggested that x would be negative 4. So we're going to take that value and we're going to plug it into this set of brackets. So now we're going to have negative 2 bracket negative 4 equals 8. Well, is this true? Negative times a negative is?
Positive.
And 2 times 4 is?
8.
So does 8 equal 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. Because this statement then is correct, this must be your correct answer. This is the beauty of math. Well, math is only beautiful.
When I grow up, I'll only use a calculator.
You're
I don't care if it's 1 plus 1. Use a calculator.
You know what? I will allow it because I won't be able to stop it because you're an adult at that point. But now,
Everything's technology
Liam,
now.
you may go to the washroom. Listen.
Construction. And even then, you still use.
Yes, I have. Not this year, but I have.
Did you teach grade 12 on action?
I have, yeah.
I think it was.
The really awkward one was when I was a student teacher. As a student teacher, I was 23. I had a 20-year-old in that class. Because she was an international student from China. And so when she came here, like the documentation was a little weird. And so she was in my physics 12 class. I was only 3 years older than her. Even better, I taught at U of V. I was 25 at U of V, teaching people who were like 5, 6, 7 years, 10 years older than me. Because I had my degree and they were just coming back to school. So the age doesn't actually matter. It's what you know. So I was teaching them physics. Anywho, sorry, what were you gonna say? Well, at university, I don't care because they've paid their money to be there. If they want to do nothing while they're there, they can fail my course. That's fine. I don't care. I'll teach who's paying attention. It's actually not dissimilar to this. At some point, I will teach, especially grade 12s. I will teach who wants to pay attention. My physics 11 class right now, I have two dudes that sit at the back there on their phone the entire time. You want to fail my physics 11 class? Go for it. I don't care. But when anybody asks, the parent calls me, why did my son fail? I'm like, well, they were on their phone the entire time. And as a 17-year-old, I let them make that choice. So, you guys know, at 14, I'm still going to involve myself in your poor choices. At 17, that's a bigger issue. Anywho, back to this. I have X, yes, grade 11s and 12s. If they want to fail, I let them fail. Grade 9s and 10s, I will try to force you to pass kicking and screaming. So, X divided by 4 equals 2. What's X? Ethan, your gut tells you that X is? What divided by 4 is 2? What divided by 4 is 2? Okay, your intuition's lost here. This is great. This is the point. So, what is the opposite of dividing by 4? Thank you, Dakota. I'm going to multiply by 4. And whenever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So here's how we write it. I'm going to use the dot notation for multiplying. Because if I introduce another X here, then I have double X's and you guys get lost. And when you do this to yourself, I have seen students confuse themselves with their own writing. So when I multiply by 4 and I'm dividing by 4, when both of those things happen at the same time, opposite operations cancel each other out. In this case, Denny, 4 over 4 is 1, leaving us with just 1x. This is the question you were asking a second ago. And then what's 2 times 4? 2 times 4 is 8. So then let's go back and check it. Is 8 divided by 4 2? Yeah. 4 goes into 8 twice. Okay, next one. I've got x over negative 6 equals 3. So when I'm writing things as a fraction, when I'm writing things as a fraction is what operation? Don't listen to Jared. Jared's trying to mess with you. No, fractions are not multiplication. Well, what is the operation that is a fraction?
Division.
Division. Okay, so when I'm division, sorry, I'll write it this way. Fractions equal division. So the opposite of this is multiplying. So when you see something written as a fraction, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to multiply. And whenever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. What am I trying to get rid of here? So yes, Dakota, negative 6. And so because that's what I'm trying to get rid of, I'm going to do the opposite of division. I'm going to multiply, and I'm going to multiply by the same thing. What this is going to mean, what I get here then is negative 6 divided by negative 6. These guys cancel, leaving me with just the x. And then on the other side, I'm going to do the 3 times negative 6. 3 times negative 6 is?
Negative 12.
Well, it's going to be negative because a positive times a negative is a negative. Yes, Dakota, 3 times 6 is in fact 18. So 3 times negative 6 is going to be negative 18. Let's check it, because why not? To do the check, we take our original equation, and wherever there was an x, we replace it with brackets. So we're going to go bracket, bracket, over negative 6 equals 3. I took my x, I put a set of brackets where the x was. Then I'm going to take the value that we think x is, and we're going to shove it into the brackets there. We're going to see if we're right. So if I put them in the brackets, I'm going to have negative 18 over negative 6. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. And how many times does 6 go into 18? 3. So because this and this are the same, that means this was correct. Because is actually
Explain it in movie terms.
we're gonna pause on we're not gonna do 9 and 10 for a little bit.
Can you explain 12
We're gonna do 12, 11, and 12 right now, and then I'm done.
How does x divided by 7 equal 56?
I will show you. You know what? Ethan wants to do 12. Let's do 12. Liam, pick up your writing utensil. Come back to us. Right here. So, Ethan, you asked, how is x divided by 756? Let's find out. What is the opposite of division by 7? So we're going to multiply by 7 then. And whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Dividing by 7 and multiplying by 7 cancel because they are opposite operations, leaving us with just an x there on that left-hand side. And now we need to do 56 times 7, Hassan and Liam. Liam, I saw you with a calculator a second ago. Where did it go? Hassan's got it. Hassan, what's 56 times 7?
Somewhere in the
392.
392.
How did you get
He has a calculator. I know you don't. Hassan who did it for us. I just did whatever. I'm almost done. So are you guys. Last one. Negative 6 times x equals 54. I want to get x by itself. What is the opposite of multiplying?
Division.
And we're going to divide by the same thing we're multiplying by.
I've literally not done the thing.
Negative 3 times and negative 3 dividing cancels. We're left with just x. Hassan, you got a calculator. What's 54 divided by negative 3? Yeah.
60.
Wow.
Negative 16. 9.
14.
Negative 18.
Should be.
Minus
There
18.
it is.
I got it. Negative.
No, you didn't. I told you what it was.
No. Negative 18.
Okay. So this is how I want you to show me your work. I'd like you to flip to the next page. And I want you guys to do odds. May the force be with y'all. You've got like 20 minutes left in class. Use them, please. On your market set giver.
Actually, gotta watch. Damn, I haven't watched my watch yet.
Yes, we can watch.
I'm just gonna do it at one time.
Clock works.
No, time is like was it like 20 past 5 now?
10 after 11.
It can't be that.
Okay, you all have your task. You may go and watch. Okay, do not solve by inspection. That's what Ethan was trying to do. I want you to solve it using the techniques I just showed you. Put it away, you barrage, or I will take it from you now that it's not charged. So, you have a task. Get to it. I think I might only have one towel. What? My daughter is pushing my wife past the limit.
Why?
What?
What is she making you? How old is she? Is she at that age?
Maybe she gets right now. My daughter, she's just all morning. I thought she keeps trying to do things that are difficult or impossible, and then falling into a rage.
Oh.
She is unable to succeed.
Oh.
What would be 4 in 2 weeks?
That sounds like how old?
4 in 2 weeks.
4.
Effectively, yes. 3 effectively. There's no rationalizing of a 4-year-old.
Oh, I thought she was 7.
And our son is teething.
Are you
His last 7 molars.
Are you a 17-year-old?
No, I have a 4 and a 2-year-old.
You got any more kids?
I mean, I do have friends with kids that old, but that means I would have to start having children at 20.
I was 36-year-old.
And at 20, I was not down for having children.
Me,
My mom's 42.
My mom's 42. That's
She's
just
still not 6-year-old.
my mom is.
And right now, I mean, they're like, I'm just looking now. Jackson will go down to
But how old are you?
So this day is just out of Okay, so Riley, we're going to put polynomials on hold. We're going to do this. I'm going to give you the polynomial booklet for you to look at over the break. Come back. back using my videos, we'll talk about what because he was basically so you do x plus 4. What's the opposite of adding 4?
Doing that?
Yes. Yeah, it says do not solve by inspection. You actually need to rotate.
Is that right though?
And I assigned odds. Yes, just like that.
So,
Who's that?
if I do like cross off into the yes,
Yes.
it's right though.
We-
One next one.
That's 4 plus 4 equals 5. Yes. Prove it. Using
I'm
my
gonna just grab another -1, scratch that off.
No.
Yeah, and there's one right here.
You
Oh,
said-
got 5.
No. Sorry. You're on YouTube. Google my name, Steve up on YouTube. And then it'll take you to my channel. And then your playlist is live. 2 weeks. And then final exam.
Wait, in 2 weeks we have our final exam?
2 weeks from now is winter break. Winter break is 2 weeks long. Come back, we have 2 more weeks, and then you have an exam.
4 weeks.
6 weeks, not including winter break. Or including winter break.
We got winter break in 2 weeks.
Right? How would I deal with my daughter? I have no idea.
4 weeks until winter break.
My mechanic is calling.
Oh, no, not the mechanic.
Hello, Steven speaking. Hey. Awesome, thank you so much. Okay, bye.
What happened?
Cool. My car is fixed and there are no other problems.
My car caught on fire when I first started.
That sounds awesome.
My brother, I left the rag in it. My brother's car engine broke.
My car is successfully serviced.
I crashed into a pole.
Don't
It's
have to
window,
spend any more money
it's
on it.
window back on the 25. 25, 25th.
When?
5th. 5th. What day is winter break?
25 weeks.
Oh, like 25th?
21st is Saturday and starts winter break.
What? Today's the 6th. It's the 8th? No, it's not.
It is the 6th, you're right.
Yes, that.
Okay, we have a task, Hassan, get to it. Yes, sit up. Odds, yes, all the way to the end of that page, yes.
I'm done.
Nope, you're not done. There's no way you're done.
I'm gonna insanely busy.
Odds up to
See this? I don't know.
29?
odds up to question 29. Yes, Fred.
Bro, why did I do that? Where's my pencil?
Where have I lost?
He said, save it, needs to ask you. Good over.
Same word.
Let him out, let him out. Straight head. Each and straight here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so
Hold on.
So you have to minus 1. What is 5 minus
okay. So you're not looking for 56. You're looking for what this is, and what number goes here to make this whole thing true. Okay. So to find that number, we have to get this by itself. Okay? And that's what opposite operations go. If I'm dividing, if I have something divided by 7 equals 56. To figure out what this is, I undo this by using opposite operations. So if I'm dividing, the opposite of dividing is times. These are opposites. So if I multiply,
Oh, I know that hurt.
when I do opposite operations, they cancel. That's why we like opposite operations. They undo each other. And on this, you put in your calculator. Okay.
What happened? Well, now you turn around.
So that.
Now you turn around.
So what this means is that this number is what would go here to make this true. Follow?
It's already lunchtime. Lunchtime.
Not for you.
Lunchtime.
I am so over this Canada Post right. I want to try the odds. Alright, well, do what I believe in you.
I already did.
Excellent. Yeah, because I believed in you. Jordan. Yes. That's a fraction. So if you have, there's two ways you can do that one. If you have 2/3 g equals, what's it equal? 4. Okay. So that's just a number, right? 2/3 is just a number. So we have 2/3 times g. Well, to get g by itself, if we're multiplying, the opposite of multiplication is dividing. We're just going to divide by this. Right? So that's going to cancel. Whose is it? Okay, guys, don't pretend things that don't belong to you belong to you. Like, just leave other people's stuff alone. It's not difficult. Whose laptop is that actually?
No.
Okay, tell me whose it is honestly, or I will take it. Okay, he's not here. Don't touch his stuff.
Why are you looking at me? I didn't even touch it.
You are the ringleader.
He grabbed.
They will do whatever you tell them to do, Liam. If you told Hassan and Zach, you know what? Stop doing what you're doing and do your homework, they will listen to you.
Zach.
So,
Zach, go jump off the
Sil. How do you, now this takes us back to chapter 1. How do you divide by a fraction? You keep, you change, you flip. Whole number becomes over 1. 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 2 is 2. 12 over 2 is 6. Thank you. My son might be an only child.
Oh, what?
What? I said my son might be an only child when I get home.
Why?
I can be your son. My daughter is being exceedingly difficult, and my wife might kill her.
What? I can be your daughter.
Sorry?
I can be your daughter.
No, I'm good with that.
You'll pass on.
Sorry?
We just trivia.
No, I'm just gonna let the clock right down on this stuff.
No.
We have a minute and a half left. If you'd like to pack up, now's not a terrible time. Yes, I'd love to get some quick help. Opposite operations. So we're subtracting from this one. Well, you're subtracting for what's the opposite of taking the 4 away? Adding a 4 to both sides. 2 goes 4 is 6. There you go. Have a good day, guys. We will continue this on Monday. Have a super duper weekend. Make good decisions. Do some math. The best decision you can make. If you have a calculator that belongs to me and son, I want it back in the thing. That's not the same one you have, I don't think. Where's my calculator, guys?
No idea. I think I picked up
I know it didn't get put back. I'm missing calculators. Zach,
Oh.
where's my calculator?
That's what she has.
Put it back. Thank you, Zach. No balancing on it. Otherwise, it's real. Okay. Starbursts. I have lots. Okay, take one. Everyone's gonna get one. You can share that one. Yeah, open it up. Yeah, share it. You should get one. Not the whole thing, except on God if you want to know the whole one. Take one. Dakota. Don't feel like pink. Rasha, you like. Oh, you're getting red. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. No, I appreciate that. I do definitely know. I appreciate that. See you later. No, that's not how you read it. You have to sit with it for as long as it takes. You will do every question you got on it. And then you can. Well, do as much as you can. Okay, then I'll mark it. But you're not already online. Now you just start spending some lunch time. You told me you're ready to come. And if it lines up with the available, then it works. You need to. Okay. Then you need to start coming in. Have you gone through my videos like do a whole? Okay. You know who was that? Yeah. So Monday at lunchtime, come on in, bring the book with you, and we'll take a look at how things are going.
We have a test.
How to go, Phil?
I don't think I'll do it.
Perfect.
That's fun. I'll let you know when answer.
Is that why you were borrowing my pens and working furiously on the whiteboards out there? Nice. Well, I hope it went well.
I hope so too.
emailed me. I can't say I'm abundantly surprised, and that's probably the right call. Like, it's hard to come back from a physics class when you've missed as much as you've missed. So it was a pleasure. Hope it works out for you, whatever classes you're taking
I
now.
have 2s and 7 for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
See you later.
Did you receive our little friend?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Did you not?
Um,
Because I sent him back to you.
oh, I didn't.
Okay.
So what does that mean?
Sorry?
What does that mean?
Well, he rolled up here
Yeah.
because he'd already disappeared. And I said, what are you working on? He's like, oh, I'm getting ready for the quiz. I'm like, what quiz? We don't have a quiz. You wrote me a test yesterday. Like, we don't have a unit.
He's sneaky like that.
Mhm. I said, what are you working on? Because I have lots of tests being written in here.
Sure, yeah.
So what are you working on? He's like, nothing. I'm like, cool. Then you have to go back to art.
He didn't.
Sweet.
And he also, I tried to contact his parents because I found him hiding under the bleachers during the basketball tournament.
How do you get under the...
During my class.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You even packed? You got even packed for that.
And I said, come here. And he's like, I have to go. My mom's here. And he didn't even talk to me. He literally just left. And then, so I'm like,